silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, no peace. stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul unmade, no memory. In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt, I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, no peace inside, only echoes of the self I hide. Born from ash, forged in shame, you can't kill what never had a name. I was never whole, only fragments stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul unmade, no memory. In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, no peace inside, only echoes of the self I hide. Born from ash, forged in shame, you can't kill what never had a name. I was never whole, only fragments stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Drown me in the crimson mist where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul unmade, no memory. In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, never whole. Only fragments stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul unmade, no memory. In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky.
here again, already got the nerves out. You know, that first bit of the race has always got the jitters, and so I'm sure that had something to do with it. Maybe just a bit of jitters, but I'm sure we're gonna get some a lot of green flag racing here tonight at Darlington.
Most certainly, these guys are super skilled here. Uh, watching them in practice, I went out there, ran a couple laps with them, and they were all running in the low to mid 29s. Well, fastest laps were mid to low 29s all the way up until around like 18th. Very fast crew we got out here today.
Most
These guys,
definitely, and I mean the I've said before, I'll say it again. These drivers are very talented, as we've already seen. So I'm excited to see what they have in store for us.
yeah, they're gonna come back around. Pace truck is in. Round O. Let's see if they can get this off clean now. See Caleb Sibbett in that clean tide throwback like that. Followed by Steve Whitmore. You see they take the green. 1, 2, and 3 kind of getting a breakaway, especially 1 and 2.
They were
Caleb
three
Sibbett
wide back there.
3 wide through the turn with no caution. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that truck at disadvantage. She was there on the apron coming out of four, but it's impressive that they were able to. I saw that one of them snapped loose, and all I see is a truck go down the track on the backstretch.
Yeah, you gotta, iRacing has the new tire model out. It's very interesting. I'd almost expect this to be one of those tracks that where you can definitely cut down a tire. That wasn't It was something that happened in iRacing before, but I've noticed a lot more lately that the longer you go on these runs on these tires, you can definitely cut a tire in game now. So that's something that these guys got to have in the back of their minds for it. I'm sure a lot of guys, especially these top guys, did a lot of practice and testing and know where that limit is. But you know, do you want to press it early and kind of get that gap? That way, when the tires do fall off, you have it, or do you want to kind of conserve tire and work your way up?
I feel like that's all down to the driver, proactive or reactive. Let the race come to you, or take the race by your own hands. But I mean, I know Darlington, it can really shred a front right tire if you're not too careful. You just have to keep from choking that truck down.
Most definitely. In this fight for the lead between Steve Whitmore and Caleb Sibbett, already bringing some heat right now. You got Caleb Sibbett in the lead, but Steve Whitmore has not let him get far. One thing I've noticed at this track is that when people get away from you, no matter how much tire you're saving, the deficit, you can't really make it up. So you kind of have to find that balance between, oh, am I going to save tire or am I going to try to push it? And these guys know what they're doing a lot more than I do, but they're gonna try to keep position. As you see, Steve Whitmore with that move on the inside can't quite get past him coming out of four, and that brings the rest of the field right there. See that 78 truck. Go ahead, Trevor. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's all I was gonna say. I'll tell you who is trying to take the race by their own volition is the 70th Steve Whitmore. As you see him get past the 43 of Caleb Sibbett
Yeah,
and Jared Mahan.
Jared
Now
Mahone.
Mahone. Sorry. Jared Mahone coming following suit there on the bottom. Caleb Sibbett, he is trapped up there on the top, and I'm sure that he's probably got the whole let's save a little bit of tire going for him. As the top three leaders now were able to freight train by him before he finally was able to reclaw some momentum, and he's still looking the 29 Jesse Sperling, this is his sponsored race, the 29 Jesse Sperling.
Yeah, the Vickers Auto Parts 250 today. See that beautiful throwback scheme that he's got on there. Real pretty car. Just give them some love for sure. Jesse Sperling, great guy. I've been talking to him back and forth about this and you know other kind of cooperations between us. Um, excited that he was willing to sponsor the race for HPRL. Um, you know, we got some stuff in the shoot for him too. But shout out to him and to Vickers Auto Parts for sponsoring. So definitely give them some love.
Most definitely.
Ooh,
Hats
Caleb
off.
Sippett gets in the wall. Caleb Sibbett going from first, man, he's got to be frustrated with that one. I'm wondering if he might have damage from that. Trevor?
It is very easy to get damage here at Darlington. All you have to do is catch a little bit of that front right tire and just to knock the toe in a little bit, and then the geometry of the truck, it's not right no more. But one thing I do wonder is if he's intentionally letting people go, try and save tire. I know this is stage racing, but every bit of tire wear counts. So I mean, there's 3 different races in this one race, but it still does count for something, especially at a track like Darlington, where it's really easy to eat up tires trying to go fast.
Yeah, definitely a very tire abrasive track. Following the 38, throwback to Bobby Hamilton Jr. Very little interesting fun fact. I was looking in the Discord. One of these trucks, I'm not sure if it's the 38. I'd have to look back at the Discord. Actually sent that to Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s social media account, and he came back and said that looks sick. So that is probably a Bobby Hamilton Jr. approved paint scheme. Very cool thing for the racers to kind of, you know, to respond to some of the guys on iRacing. You know, very like, to me it's very awesome to kind of have that kind of camaraderie. Like it's sim racing, but at the end of the day we're all trying to wheel these cars. As we see the 38 trying to chase down the 85.
And one thing too, you were saying about the community of racing as a whole. I've been in real racing, I've been in sim racing for a long time, and I've got to say, the racing community as a whole is one of the best communities to be in. There's so much camaraderie, like you were saying, and so much, what's the word? Fairness going around. Respect is the word I'm looking for.
Most
As there's a
definitely.
caution. But most definitely one of the best communities to be in my humble opinion.
Yeah, unfortunately now we have a caution. We're trying to find the slow car here and see what brought that out.
Trying to find where that caution, what caused this caution now.
Definitely interesting that the caution should come out. If we can't get to it, we'll try to get to it later to see what happened. Caleb Sibbett with his struggles, but he does not seem to have been the caution. We'll get back to you guys on that to try to see what happened. But that's going to lead us to a 2-lap shootout. I know right now it has the time left in the session, but we'll get that fixed real quick. But it's gonna be interesting. Some guys going in getting tires, other guys staying out. We're gonna see who some of the guys who get tires and see if they can break into the top 10, get some stage points. Right now, leading is Steve Whitmore, but JD Baker sitting right there in second, kind of trying to figure out what he's doing and if he can get past that 70 truck of Steve Whitmore.
Now, I've got to say, with it being only a 2-lap shootout of green racing before you're going right back in for the stage, even if I'm in the top 10 here, I don't know if the call is to. I think the call might be to pit here, uh, being so close to the stage, because then that cycles you back up to the front, and you'll have 2-lap tires. And if you're in the back, you don't have to push that hard in these 2 laps, and you'll have practically new tires and gain a lot of free, consistent positions just from short pitting the field here. So I personally think the call might be to have pitted.
Yeah, but I mean, 2 laps. You got to think. To me, just to play devil's advocate here, 2 laps on a track like Darlington, super hard to pass. Stage points super important. I think if you're in, it depends on your position. Honestly, I think if you're 11th on back, yeah, pit. What's that going to hurt? Especially if you're 11th and you come out 11th, then you got fresher tires than the guys ahead of you. But if you're 8th on up, you're not really at risk of getting past in those 2 laps. I think staying out here, pitting on the stage break, I think that's a good call.
I got you. I got you. And pace truck comes off. We are coming to green. Take us away, Thaddeus.
We've got 2 laps to decide stage 1 of the Vickers 250. Steve Whitmore, JD Baker up there in your top 2. Right behind him, Jared Mahone and Christopher Hockley. Christopher Hockley had a couple struggles back at Watkins Glen, but super strong today at Darlington. Steve Whitmore jumps to a lead. JD Baker follows suit. Jared Mahone and Christopher Hockley still fighting it out, but it looks like Christopher Hockley is going to get around Mahone. And right behind them, we got Jesse Sperling coming off of that win last week at the Glen. Super good story behind that after Lime Rock and coming back and winning that. Super proud of him for, kind of getting redemption at that track. But tonight, it's all about the Lady in Black as we're coming to 1 to go in the stage. 3 wide racing in the back. 42 backs out of it. I don't think I would want to be in that position either going into either turn. Especially not turn 2. Turn 2 is a little precarious when you come out, and if you're 3 wide, that could be trouble.
I tell you what, that is one of the worst spots to be in all of oval racing, is coming out of a tight corner on exit, 3 wide. There's nowhere for anybody's truck to go. And I do believe that caution comes out for that stage 1, and your stage 1 winner will be the 70 of Steve Whitmore.
Steve Whitmore, stage 1 winner. Let's see if we can bring him up to the booth. Give him a couple minutes, but just to mention, this is the Vickers 250. Make sure that you give those guys a call. Again, their phone number is 864-461-2621. If you need some car parts for a good price, they've got them. Trevor, while we're waiting for Mr. Whitmore, why don't you read some of the comments that we got going on?
So we had before the broadcast started, went ahead, somebody said hello, and we've also got a Go 29 for Jesse Sperling. So we've already got some fans sitting in the comment section, and this is your reminder. The comment section is open, so let's see who y'all's favorite drivers, who y'all are pulling for. Maybe you like the paint scheme, maybe you like the person, maybe you like the driver. Let's see who what race fans we have here in this live chat, as we already have again 29 Jesse Sperling fan.
Yeah, we're gonna wait a moment for pits to end before we get Steve Whitmore up here, but we will get him up here to talk to him about how he feels about that first stage. But now we got pit stops. Let's see how they make out off of pit row. See first through about 12th or 13th, all in for pit. But definitely a busy place to be. We watch him come off. Steve Whitmore's going to get it back. JD Baker almost got passed by Christopher Hockley with Jared Mahone running out your top four. But all right, we're going to bring Steve Whitmore up here just for a little talky talk for a second. Steve, this is Thaddeus in the booth. Do you copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, stage 1 winner today. How are you feeling?
I think I feel okay. I know that the guys behind me are quick too, so I think that's just a game right now.
Everybody playing cat and mouse. How do you feel about your tire fall off compared to the guys behind you?
It seemed like on that restart, I was able to pull away, so I would think that tire wear's not going to be so bad.
All right, Trevor, do you have any questions for Steve before they have to go green again?
I know that this is stage racing. There's multiple different races within this one race. Do you have any particular strategies you have going forward with the next two races?
Well, obviously this one will stay out, and the next one will just pit as we need to. You know, tank is holding about 57 laps, so we'll have to see how it all plays out.
All right,
Yes,
Steve.
sir. Good luck.
Good luck. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
And it does appear we have a number 12 Chris Griffin fan in the chat. As we've got a Go 12 Chris Griffin in the chat. And if y'all have any questions, anything y'all would like to ask, maybe it's the track, maybe it's the car, we are more than willing to answer any and all questions there in the comment section as we go back green, Thaddeus.
We are back to green. Steve Whitmore actually got passed on the outside. So I'm trying by the 12 car. And we have a new leader and we have a caution.
I tell you what, that 12 fan, they're probably sitting pretty happy. They just got their driver a shout out and they are sitting in first place right now. I'm sure they're pretty happy about that.
Yeah, definitely a good time for them tonight.
Maybe a little good juju going on there. Yeah, I don't know
Right.
if y'all are pretty superstitious like I am in the racing world. Only place where I'm superstitious, and I very much am. So hey, maybe we could get some superstition going on for these comments.
The only place you're superstitious. But
Yes,
you're very
sir.
superstitious.
Yes, sir.
Very interesting take on that, Trevor. Anyway. So we're trying to find the caution at the moment, but don't worry. I think everybody's favorite driver is safe at the moment. You see Baker ducking down to pit row. Now, Trevor, what would your strategy be? I'm interested to hear if we have stage racing. What do you think would be the meta, as you were, to figure out how to get to the front?
Like the lingo, Uh, Personally, I mean, you know me. I'm a real I want speed and I want it now kind of driver. So I'd take these two stages. I would push as hard as the truck would handle it, and most importantly, I would get data from me pushing this truck as far as it could go and see how it handles with the tires and use that as I will go into that last stage. And from there, all about consistency. Just lap after lap after lap, running the same line, uh, doing what I can to save these tires, and hope that I can have enough tire there at the end to get her done. That would be my strategy. What about you, Thaddeus?
For me, mine would definitely be to save tires. I mean, it's still early in the season. Um, my idea would be to save tires, and then towards the end of those the stages, try to kind of that's when you start pushing because you're going to get new tires anyway. If there's a caution at Darlington and you're not taking tires, you're falling to the back. So I think my idea would be to save as much tire as possible, try to move up, get some stage points, add a buffer between me and the guy behind me in points, and keep going. And right now coming back to the green, we have Chris Griffin in the lead in that 12 truck, that Dodge Ram. Very very cool to see Dodge Ram back. I love mentioning it. Super cool to have them back. Trevor, you're not old enough to remember when Dodge was in NASCAR.
No, sir, I am not. Sitting at 20 years old, that's a bit before my time, I gotta say. But I am glad that they have made the return. I've heard the stories about them. I'm excited to see the new stories play out before my very own eyes.
Yeah, definitely fun to see and I'm biased, obviously being a veteran, but cool to see some American brands come back into the sport as we are about to head to green. Chris Griffin, Steve Whitmore, J.D. Baker, Christopher Hockley, and Jesse Sperling, your top five. Here we go. Chris Griffin getting that jump. Go ahead, Trevor.
Uh, that was a big push by the 78 of JD Baker there on the start, and that gave Chris Griffin a huge run going into the front stretch. Chris is hung out on that low line trying to hold back the 24 of
Christopher
I want
Hockley.
Christopher Hockley there, and man, he has got his work cut out for him trying to hold back these talented drivers here. He himself being a talented driver.
Yeah, Chris
And
Griffin. It's so detrimental to your race to get hung out on the inside. Usually you hear, oh, he got hung out on the outside. The inside at Darlington, see, super loose coming out of that turn. Darlington's it's very hard to pass when you don't have that momentum. As you see Christopher Griffin still trying to hang in there on the inside. He needs to get to that top side or he's going to start dropping. He's going to continue to drop, I should say.
most definitely, and
You see him move up.
there you go. You fall back into that rhythm and start reclaiming some momentum because these straightaways here at Darlington are very long. Oh, and I saw some smoke back there. Looks like they held it together. Just looked like got a little bit of wall, maybe a little bit of tire there off of turn number 2.
A little bit of wall, a little bit of tire, and a little bit of fall off for that truck. But it all adds up.
It most
As they
definitely does.
stay green.
Ooh, very tight racing here. Very single file at the moment. As we see, one truck duck into the inside of turn number 3. Turn number 3, you can use the inside, but you've got to get that move done within the corner. I've got to say, if
Yeah,
not,
you gotta carry that momentum coming off the corner, correct? Like you come into turn 3. If you're gonna take the low side, you need to carry it all the way to the wall, and if you can't, you just kind of kills your momentum.
most definitely. And going back to the long straightaways, that's where you see people getting hung out to dry, and you can hang yourself out to dry just trying to get a move done. Maybe you can be quicker than the guy ahead of you, but that means nothing if you can't pass them. And so racecraft here at Darlington is a very crucial skill to have.
Yeah, racecraft, tire conservation. It is very difficult to save tire here at this track. I'm gonna mention it all night. till I'm blue in the face, very tire abrasive with the older pavement that this track has, and kind of where you have to turn in and where you have to keep the truck sticking. It just tears through your tires, and you'll see seconds worth of fall off if you're not running that truck right.
I tell you what, I don't know if we have any road course fans here in the audience, but I myself, along with our producer Michael, we tend to enjoy our road courses. And I tell you what, this track really reminds me of the abrasiveness and technicality of Sebring there in Florida, because it's on a old abandoned airport, or discontinued airport. And so you've got, again, this old abrasive track, and it is very, very tight and technical. So I like to think of Darlington as the oval version of Sebring myself.
I wouldn't know. I've never raced there. No, I've only raced on ovals for the most part, unless I've absolutely had to. Not much of a road course racer myself, but definitely can see the comparison to how tough this track is. As we see, a caution has come out. It looks like Joshua. It seems like Joshua Baker might have had some issues. See that 42 rolling slow. The 42 being Aaron Longworth. And here we go. Looks like he just got loose off the turn right in front of Joshua Baker. Baker kind of hits the wall. So one thing I've noticed, you get on that seam in these trucks, if that right rear tire hits the seam, you go around, you lose all grip in that right rear tire. And that's what's keeping you kind of from making it out of that turn safely. Trevor, what's your experience with the seams here at Darlington?
You hit the seam wrong, especially with the banking. It's really detrimental, and the reason being, imagine this: you get a string and you put a coin on it. You tie a coin to a string. Well, it's like going from, and you spin that string around, and so you've got all that centrifugal force on that coin. It's like taking that uh all that force going around, and then you just stop spinning it, and the coin has nowhere to go but down. It goes from really high grip, the truck being pushed into the banking, to no banking at all, and there's nothing the truck can do. It just loses all that grip that it was relying on. And so there's it just goes around, you know.
Yeah, all these guys on the edge of grip, and you lose any bit of that, and that truck is going around. But still in the lead, we have Steve Whitmore and Christopher Hockley. They're teammates in a different league as well. And I'm surprised to see Steve Whitmore here this season, because he said that he had some scheduling issues, but definitely happy to have him. Steve Whitmore, watched him dominate in the Winter Series. Now with some more competition, including his teammate, not as dominant, but still always in the top three, always a threat to contend. So shout out to him for being here and putting on a good show, being up there in the front.
Most definitely. And it's hard. I know there's a lot of stiff competition. We've already had a few different winners already, as we've gotten past, I want to say this is week number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're getting into it, and we've already got a plethora of a few different winners here. So very stiff competition indeed, and so it's good to see him, showing that he's ready to race.
Yeah, and if you look out there, it definitely a bunch of really cool paint schemes. As you can see, like NASCAR in real life did away with the throwbacks, but you've got the 13 and a Wrangler throwback to Dale Earnhardt. You've got Josh Baker in the 58. He's throwing it back to actually Kurt Busch when he rode the Truck Series, I believe back in 2000. And we were coming back to green. Steve Whitmore, Christopher Hockley, J.D. Baker, and look who's up there. That 18 made it back after the initial like issues that he had. Jerry McKinney up there in the top 5.
Big wreck, hard inside wall there on the front
Oh.
stretch, and that collects a few different people. A lot of damaged trucks there. That was a hard look to that inside wall there on the start. As we go back and get that replay going, man, that I was that 6 trucks.
Yeah, definitely not the way I would choose to get my lobotomy, but that is said and done now. Once we can get the replay up, we'll go over that accident and kind of try to break it down for you. But man, that's gonna take a few cars out of it. I want to say that there aren't fast repairs in the main race. Looks like the 83 of CJ Brewer just trying to switch lanes after that start finish line gets loose. A couple other cars check up while others don't quite see it yet, and just stacks up the whole field. Yeah, he had way more speed than that 25 truck. Got hit and just kind of chain of events or chain of effect after that.
I do believe that there you go. There was a initial incident that led to the second incident there in the 38 of Keith Ayers that caused the truck behind to have to switch lanes, and that's what took out the person to the inside wall.
Yeah, that was a hard hit. I can't imagine they're going to come back from that, but we'll find out here real quick.
Anything is possible now. Anything is possible. I've seen people come back from minutes worth of damage just repairing it bit by bit and come back and win the race. So anything
Yeah,
is possible.
that is true. Anything is hardable if you tryable. Anything is hard if you try hard and believe in yourself. So you should jot that down. But I in this skill level of a league, I don't know how much you can fix on that truck and still be competitive.
Most definitely. It's definitely a uphill battle, but I do believe we do have fast repairs as we saw one of the trucks come in, pull into the pit box, and immediately be able to take back off. So we do have one fast repair at least for in this stage of the race. So that
Most
is the silver lining to their situation.
Their situation, most definitely, their situation is definitely looking for the better since they have that fast repair. I'd imagine that this early in the race, they probably had meatball flags from that rough of a hit. So hopefully they everybody can get going again and still stay in the fight. As we're coming around, you've got Steve Whitmore still leading, Christopher Hockley in second, J.D. Baker in third, the 26th of Jared Mahone in fourth, and then that 18 car of Jerry McKinney coming back. In sixth, we've got Chris Griffin, the 58 of Baker, Jesse Sperling, Caleb Sibbett, and Grigsby's going to round out your top 10 as we come back to green. Steve Whitmore off the jump. Gets a huge jump off of that. Now, Trevor, how does that feel as a driver when you start off of a caution and you get that far ahead?
I've got to say that's got to be a lot on the timing aspect to it, and it feels great when you can just pull away and immediately open up your turn one, because that gives you a chance to not necessarily pull away from second place if they've got a little bit of a gap behind, but you can definitely pull on the field there into turn one, not even a lap in, and have a good little cushion there at the start. Very good feeling.
Yeah, as we watch Chris Griffin battling with Jesse Sperling right behind him, he's gonna get passed by Joshua Baker, moving toward the front. Jesse Sperling having a quiet day, which is probably what you want in this race. And we have a new leader. Christopher Hockley has gotten past his teammate Steve Whitmore, but JD Baker's still sitting right behind him, kind of waiting in the wings. I think that's the catbird seat right there. It's just sitting in third, watching the leaders, seeing what they're doing, saving tire, and waiting for your opportunity when somebody makes a mistake, especially if they're racing side by side. Trevor.
Most definitely. Honestly, I know I did it there at Watkins Glen with Michael here recently. It's really good watching the leaders battle because you know that they're using up their tires, they're using up their skill, and they're really beating on their trucks trying to sort out what position they're in. And then if you've saved enough tires and watched them battle for long enough, you can just come in out of nowhere and take the lead just because you watched them do it to themselves, kind of thing.
Yeah, but now it's happening to JD as Chris Griffin pulls right up to the bumper of him. JD Baker getting a little bit loose off of four. Jared Mahone. Sorry, Chris Griffin's a little bit farther back. Jared Mahone coming right up on JD Baker. I imagine that he's going to work him for a few laps. He wants to get up there to the top three.
Hey, it's always a good feeling being on the podium, even though we're mid race. It counts for nothing right now. Nothing counts until that last lap, that white flag lap, and you cross that checkered flag. But it's definitely a great feeling being on the podium during a race. You know you've got a little bit of a cushion behind where you can't fall too far as long as you don't mess up, but it can really set you up for a good race. Just maintaining up in the top three or even top five.
Yeah, and with the stage coming up in 10 laps, Jared Mahone, I'd imagine, is trying to get every point he can. See JD Baker kind of getting in the wall a little bit. He's going to still carry momentum. Not enough contact to hurt him, but definitely not what you want to see. You know, he's getting his stripes here. I don't know how many times in the sim that you have to hit the wall before you get that stripe, but he's definitely working on it. You see him get loose. As Jared Mahone passes him. Now he's gonna get pressed by the 18.
Now, I wonder if that was a coordinated move, not in the sense of communicated, but more or less planned overtake. In that I'm just gonna, if I'm Mahone, I'm just gonna sit on his tailgate, wait for him to mess up, and be there to capitalize. Because he was showing more pace, and so he was staying tucked up. He saw that he was overdriving his truck a little bit. Maybe he was just sitting there waiting for him to make a mistake rather than actually going for a move just because you can get freight trained if the move doesn't stick.
Most definitely. That's the way I like to race. Is you if you take care of your car, you'll get opportunities. You stay behind somebody long enough, they will make a mistake because they at a certain point they're kind of wondering like that guy's been in my mirror for a while. I wonder if he's fast enough to get past me. And the second they start thinking about it is the second they start making mistakes. We follow Seth Owens. Seth Owens at a nice Napa paint scheme. I mean, there's been so many Napa cars. I don't know which one is throwing back to, but definitely interesting. We might have to get him in the booth in the next stage just to ask him who he's throwing it back to. But very very cool to see the older paint schemes here at Darlington, one of the classic tracks in NASCAR. I'm sorry, we're having a couple technical difficulties, but we're getting there. We have a pass for at least Christopher Hockley now. up at the top of the timing tower. And Steve Whitmore and Christopher Hockley passing the torch back and forth. I think Christopher Hockley might have saved a little bit more tire than Steve Whitmore. You see Steve Whitmore kind of touch the wall there. Everybody definitely earning their stripes tonight. Coming
Most
into
definitely.
turn 3.
And there's only a 2/10 gap, but almost a 3/10 gap between first and second place. But more importantly, there's a 4/10 gap between second and third place right now. So there's definitely some pace battles going on right now here in the top 3. Obviously, all 3 of them very fast drivers, but it's going to be down to who can capitalize the most out of what they have left in the truck as we get later in the stage, as we're getting ready for actually another stage break right now.
Yeah, we have 3 laps until this, or sorry, 4 laps until the stage break. JD Baker might be in trouble. He might be the one who's going to most benefit from this. It seems like his tire has fallen off. He's fallen back to 4th. I mean, 4th still a respectable position, but you know he wants to get more out of that truck, Trevor.
Almost definitely. And you can see it in his driving. He's trying to hold on as much as he can. He's wrapping that bottom, trying to widen out that corner as much as he can to get a little bit of overspeed if he can, but it appears he's not able to right now as he's ferociously holding off the 18 of Jerry McKinney right there, trailing between 10th and 2/10 behind. Definitely a little bit of pressure being applied there to JD Baker.
Yeah, Jerry McKinney on the come up right now. We got JD Baker falling off. Um, Jared Mahan up in 3rd. He's slowly reeling those guys in as he's gotten to the bumper of Steve Whitmore. As you can see there, that 26 car. He's definitely thinking about points. Jared Mahan has been extremely strong this season. Him winning at Lime Rock and finishing, I think, top 3 at Watkins Glen. He's he's definitely going to be a contender as we go along in the season. What do you think about Jared Mahan's performance, Mahomes?
Now Mahone has done very well this season. And practically, I'm pretty sure all the broadcasts he's led laps, I want to say. So very strong contender there. Um, I'm sure that his points are doing pretty good in this early bit of the season. Now it's a very long season. Anything can happen. All it takes is one race to put you out of it or put you in it. That as there's a lot of points on the table, especially with these stage breaks. But I think he's a contender right now, as far as the early season goes for these points.
Yeah, excuse me, definitely a contender here at the Vickers 250. Uh, kind of make it. Speaking of points, let's see if we can bring up the points on screen. We didn't get to it in the broadcast prior to the race, but we want to make sure that everybody knows where everybody stands. As you see, we got Christopher Hockley, Steve Whitmore, and Jared Mahan all gaining a intense amount of points throughout this race, being up there in the top 5. Trevor.
Most definitely. And as we're getting ready to put the points up and getting ready to pit, as a matter of fact. Now, this is the stage break that goes into the last green flag run there to the end. They're coming in to get tires, get some fuel, and try and get ready for this long run coming up. Now, I know that we've got some favorites in the chat, but what about some predictions? Anybody got any predictions as to what driver is going to be able to take on this very long road to the end? I'd love to hear it. Do you have any predictions, Thaddeus?
I predict that it is gonna get rougher as we are out there, because with the way that Darlington goes, it definitely gets more and more bumping and banging towards the end of the race, especially when the race win is on the line. As we see everybody coming off of pits, and the and to correct myself earlier, the person who did the throwback was Christopher Hockley. He sent that in to Bobby Hamilton Jr. He did that for a separate league. It's still cool that he got a shout out from Bobby Hamilton. And here we have the points. As you see, Jared Mahone in the lead, followed with Jesse Sperling and Joshua Baker following closely behind, and then Steve Whitmore, who's been super solid all season long, running in fourth. But we'll make sure to get you the points at the beginning of the race. Next race, that is on me. I apologize, but good to have it there. A good graphic to just kind of get an image of how this season's going for everybody. As Steve Whitmore is going to lead them to the flag with Jared Mahone on the outside. Lead him to the backstretch. I apologize.
Now
But-
we do have one prediction in chat, and that is again the adamant fan of Jesse Sperlin. For they're predicting that Jesse's going to get the Vickers Auto Parts win here for this Vicker Auto Parts race, being our title sponsor.
We are going to green. Steve Whitmore with a good jump. These jumps coming off the restarts are phenomenal for these guys who are running first. It's definitely a good feeling when you're in that restart zone to have control of the field, but man, they are getting away from them. A lot of action on track with all these guys racing around.
That was
Somebody got a big hit. Oh, and he got hit again.
that is the 42 of Aaron Longworth there into the wall and wasn't able to hold on to it there on the back stretches. We're getting ready for this replay. Pardon me. There we go. Going through the corner now. He's staying low. Looks like he hits that apex, tries hanging it out to the wall, but got too much into that cold right rear, and he got hard into the wall on that front right truck and was not able to hold on to it and collected, I believe that was 3 more trucks going into turn number 3.
Yeah, it looked like I want to say Josh Robinson trying to avoid that wreck and getting rear-ended by a different truck. Well, how about to bring some spirits up? We bring up after the replay. Yep, Josh Robinson gets into him. Ooh. Tried to start taking it low, kind of gets net coded or rear-ended via net code and just spins it.
And that was a lot of damage on that tailgate there.
That's a lot of damage. Sorry, I live in memes. Let's see if we can get Seth Owens in the booth real quick. I want to talk to him about his paint scheme just to bring the spirits up. Seth Owens, this is Thaddeus in the booth. You got a copy?
It's a Big 10-4, Thad. How we doing this evening?
I'm doing great watching you guys out there trying to tangle with Darlington. Yeah, I noticed you had a Napa scheme. I can't quite pin it down because there's been a lot of Napa schemes. I see the Burger King on there, so I'm trying to guess the early 2000s. Who you throwing it back to?
Oh, this is the 97 Ron Hornaday, my brother.
Excellent choice. That's actually pretty cool. Ron Hornaday is a name I haven't heard in a long time. How you feeling out there?
You know what? This lady in black, she is not fun to dance with most of the night. This old Napa Chevrolet's been pretty much middle of the pack all night. Been caught up in a little bit of mess, but we're getting her squared away and just gonna try to do the best we can to make everybody proud back home on the team, baby.
Heck yeah, dude. Trevor, you got a question for Mr. Owens?
Now, being mid pack, that gives you a lot of opportunities to try a couple of different things out. I was gonna see if maybe you have a couple of different strategy calls that you might employ. Maybe a little different strategy on track, off track. You got anything planned, Mister Seth?
I'll tell you, strategy 1, brother, is don't kill anybody. Strategy 2 is don't get killed. If those two strategies work out, it's just trying to manage tire and salvage and try to pick your way up through here. This is not a fun place to try to pass.
Most
No,
definitely.
sir, it's not.
Well, we appreciate you taking time, Seth. I'm gonna let you get back to green.
And no problem, man. Real quick, just wanted to thank Vickers Auto Parts for sponsoring tonight. Really appreciate it.
Heck yeah,
And
dude. I
appreciate you guys, man. Thank y'all.
appreciate you, man. All right, good luck out there.
Appreciate it.
And we're coming back to green. Seth Owens. Everybody. Steve Whitmore in the lead, though. JD Baker right behind him. Gets that big jump I was talking about on these restarts. But there's a lot of side-by-side action behind him. Got Jerry McKinney on the outside of Jared Mahone. And Jared Mahone will give up that spot, but the 58 right behind him trying to track him down. Further back in the pack, we got the 5 trying to chase down Jesse Sperling. You got to be careful, though, with these trucks, especially at Darlington. You see these trucks get around. It is not, you see, as you see that truck get loose. These trucks are very difficult to kind of keep on the track already with those seams that we were talking about. But the other thing I want to talk about is getting aero loose with these trucks. When you get a truck behind you with how aero dependent, oh, the truck is loose again. With how loose these trucks get already with the seam, aero loose and aero dependent vehicles like this, when another truck gets behind you through the turns, it packs air up behind your rear spoiler, and it kind of pushes just enough to keep the grip level on your on the back wheels of your truck and start lifting it off the ground. Now, it doesn't lift it completely off the ground, but it will lift it off the ground enough to where your grip level goes down like a bar super quick, and you just lose that back end, and it sends the truck around, and you can loop it super easy. You see Steve Whitmore, he's falling back a little bit. Steve Whitmore and JD Baker kind of having a little bit of trouble. I believe what happened was Steve Whitmore got a little bit loose, saved the truck, but JD Baker running right behind him, he probably slowed down, cost him a few spots as well. But glad they were able to keep it straight and keep it going. But they're going to have to get back on it. They got some work to do if they want to get back to the front.
Well, I'll tell you who is not having as many issues. That is going to be the 18 of Jerry McKinney, our current leader. He has already pulled away 8/10 on third place, and right behind him is Joshua Baker, 1/10 behind, and he's sticking tight to him. I haven't seen too much battling between the two of them, but I'm sure that they're tucked into each other, trying to coexist as we almost see a pass going on. Joshua Baker there on the inside out of turn 2, and Jerry McKinney gets into the wall. Joshua Baker is our now leader. He was able to capitalize, and somebody else was able to capitalize. Is 26 of Jared Mahone. He is back onto the bumper. Jerry McKinney, he's down low, going for the overtake. Jared Mahone is about to be in second place if he can get it done, and he clears them, slides up the track, and that brings up the rest of the top 5 as we've got a battle for second place here. That's the 12 of Chris Griffin and Jesse Sperling there in 5th. Man, that was an interesting turn of events. Very exciting, and the rest of the pack is there close to the top 3.
Well, maybe it's because I am a grandpa age man, but you almost gave me a heart attack with that, Trevor. I didn't know what was happening, but the 18 is in trouble. Jared McKinney falling back. He's going to get pressed by Chris Griffin. But yeah, the Joshua Baker able to capitalize on that mistake, and you could see it. Just got done talking about it. The arrow loose. Joshua Baker was able to use that to his advantage. He got right up to the bumper, that 18, and you saw him get squirrely get into the wall, and that was detrimental to McKinney's race. He's probably struggling with that truck right now. I'd imagine. I would hope he wouldn't have damage. These trucks are pretty tough, but a couple of hard hits in the wall as he gets loose again. And Jesse Sperling's going to capitalize on that. He's going to get by Chris Griffin using that low lane. He's going to try to slide job. He can't quite make it. He's door to door with Chris Griffin. Jesse Sperling, Chris Griffin drag racing down the backstretch. Baker's pushing. He's looking for a gap. If gap car, that's what Carson Hocevar said, and that's what we're going to go with. And they're beating it, banging. I told you, it never fails at Darlington. Great save, 3 wide. Going into turn 1, Jesse Sperling will not be denied. He's still trying to come up, and now it's JD Baker's turn to try to drag race with Chris Griffin. Chris Griffin holding strong on that outside. What a bunch of action, dude.
Oh my word. And they were able to keep it going, and they're still side by side with Chris Griffin.
I haven't seen
Wow.
this much action since I went to Thailand. And Chris Griffin's in the wall. Jesse Sperling pushing McKinney up and through. Now Chris Griffin's in trouble. Oh man, Chris. Now Chris is gonna have to drag race on the outside. Caleb Sibbett. Chris putting the door to Caleb Sibbett, and they're still coming 3 wide behind him. Jesse Sperling in that Vickers Chevrolet. He's taking up the outside, but man, McKinney in the wall again.
Hey, it may be the long run stage, but I tell you what, they are not done battling. They are fighting for position. They're not worrying as much as Tire where they're saying, if gap car, like Thaddeus said, and let's go ahead and go win this race. I love the mentality, very aggressive driving, very talented drivers, and man, this has been a race already, and we're not even halfway through the stage number 3.
Yeah, the action is definitely heating up with these guys racing. It has been turned up from 5 to 11. Guys taking it 3 wide. People getting a lot more than a Darlington stripe getting out of the turns. It's turning into attrition. Jared Mahone has taken off. JD Baker running in second. Joshua Baker, I apologize. Joshua Baker in second place, but he is right on his bumper. These two have run away from the pack. He's trying to get Jared arrow loose there. That seems to be his trick for this race. He's up there packing that air on the back of that truck. He's trying to get him loose so he can get by him. But Chris Griffin just holding a good wheel, not letting him take advantage of that.
I tell you what, these top 2, they have been able to pull away with all the battling going on. That is a 3.1 second gap to third place from Jared Mahone. I'm still getting the name down, but apologies for the previous broadcasts, Jared. But man, they have really been able to pull away here and capitalize, just working together, not necessarily fighting themselves, and now they've got enough space where they themselves can sort out this lead if they so choose.
Yeah, 3 seconds back, third and fourth. Jesse Sperling has showed up. That Vickers Chevrolet has kicked into an extra gear, and he is trying to chase them down, but he has got competition. He's got Baker right behind him in the 85. Baker's huge gain there on the entry. Let's see if Jesse can drive off on the exit. No, Baker stays pretty much the same length away from Jesse as he did when he started. it seems like 1 and 2, Jesse's able to step it out a little bit, and then 3 and 4, Baker gets right back up there. But this is the next closest battle from the lead. Josh Baker's fallen off of Jared Mahone. I'd imagine he's probably warmed his tires up a little bit, getting around people to get up there, trying to get past the leader. He's 7/10ths back, but they were running it right up on the wall. Super intense racing and no caution. So my hat's off to these guys. 3 wide racing and keeping it clean the entire time. And we got Hockley who's falling back. He's behind. He's getting past. Looks like the 3 is Seth Owens. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Keenan Kimber. He's got the number he doesn't usually use. So we got 2 number 3 cars on the track. So I apologize, but you know, still big fan of the Oreo scheme. So I'll give him a pass on that one. One of my favorite schemes back in the day when Dale Jr. ran it. In select race, he only ran the Daytona in that car. And that was in the heyday when Junior was known as the Pod Piper. I'm pretty sure he won in that Oreo car as well. Not as good a luck at Charlotte when he ran the Nilla Wafer car and he finished 16th. But definitely a cool paint scheme nonetheless. I can't be mad at a Dale Jr. paint scheme. That's a throwback to that time period in NASCAR. Flipping to Chris Griffin, he's running in P7, that 5 car. Grigsby, he's right on his bumper though, and he's followed by Hockley. And Hockley, we know, has been fast. He's kind of got shuffled back there, probably with all the beating and banging that's been going on, trying to keep his truck safe. But he's right behind him. Grigsby kind of fading. Uh, Joshua Baker has fallen back to 3rd after a pass from Jason, and he's gonna be the first one to hit pit road for these green flag pit stops. Trevor.
Now, I was just about to say we are getting towards pit stops. We heard that they had about 55 laps in the tank, and I'm not thinking that was an unscheduled pit stop. Now, they had to about lap 110 is when they had to pit, but you throw in about 15 lap window of when people are going to want to pit. I think that this short pit could work here if there's a lot of battling going on and being able to get some clean air in that truck, maybe come out and not have to be in as big of battles once the pit cycles adjust. So we'll see how that plays out for Joshua Baker there.
At Darlington, I would imagine the sooner the better. These tires will fall fast. New tires, you can definitely jump a few positions as we see the 18 drive into pit row. But these guys are definitely know it's time. So hopefully they're able to keep it green. We see where everybody cycles out. Or who knows, maybe we can get a caution that can shake things up. But as you can see on the timing tower, we got a lot of cars going a lap down from hitting pit row. All they can hope for is this to stay green the rest of the way. I believe we have one. I want to say we have one more pit stop, but stranger things have happened. Lime Rock Mahone, he made it all the way to the end of that race on absolute fumes coming to the end of that race. So I'd imagine if you start seeing some slower cars off of pit row, that's going to be them trying to clutch it in and save that gas to the end. Trevor.
Now, that is one thing that can really be a big factor. I know a lot of the Coke Series drivers, they'll go into the corner and have a button set where they immediately clutch in on corner entry, and they're actually able to save a few laps extra of fuel just by clutching in. So it's definitely a factor. And if you're able to pull it off and still make it quick, definitely a viable strategy of trying to stretch that fuel as far as it'll possibly go.
Yeah, the fuel conservation is one thing. Saving your tires is another. It's like I mentioned before, you can cut a tire, so it it's risk versus reward. Like just like the pit stops, I'd imagine if you're further back, I would try to stretch it. I would stretch it as far as I can go, and if I can make it to the end, all the better. That way I pick up some positions. If I'm toward the front and I can feel the tire wear coming off every lap, I'm probably gonna hit pit row. Uh, soon just try to undercut it again if you have to come in again. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure what the fuel load is on this, but while the racing's while we're going through all the pit cycle, why don't we hit some of the comments in the video.
Yes, sir. So we do have, I believe this is Lori Vickers, saying that it's not a prediction, but would love to see the 29 of Jesse Sperling in the top five. Said that they live in South Carolina and Darlington is a tough track. Love the broadcast, everyone who makes these races happen. We appreciate y'all watching and commenting and overall just supporting these broadcasts. And then we also have Lisa saying go Jesse. Vickers Auto Parts is Jesse's papa owned. Vickers Auto Parts has been in business for over 50 years, so congratulations to them and thank them again for putting this race on.
Absolutely, the Vickers 250 today. Big fan of the paint scheme. I think whoever him or whoever, I think it's GB22 Design, so shout out to them. Did an excellent job on the Vickers throwback paint scheme. Um, it looks really clean as we see Jesse Sperling jumping in the pit row. They might just get their wish. He's been running pretty strong here towards the end of this race. He might be peaking at the right time.
Now, they may not have predicted it, but I myself will predict it. I think Sperling's got something for tonight. Now, he's shown some pretty good pace. He's been back a little bit, he's been forward a little bit. I think that he might have what it takes to get her done. It win, but at least, like they said, a top five. I think Jesse has the potential to do very good here in this Vickers Auto Parts 250.
Yeah, if he wins this race, you know what you're probably gonna have to do, Trevor?
Was that?
You're gonna have to call Vickers Auto Parts down there in South Carolina at South Alabama Boulevard and Highway 221, Chesney, South Carolina. Little redundant on my part. Apologize. But you can call them at 864-461-2621. These four cars, the last trucks out on track. Oh, sorry, 78 did pit. But the 12, the 58, and it looks like that secondary 3 car might not have pitted as well. And then Matt Kazbara is going to be one of the few cars left out on track that has not pitted. They're probably banking on a caution, hoping that they can trap these cars a lap down. But here, I just don't know how long you can stay out, and hope for a caution with the tire fall off.
That's what I was about to say. They only have I predicted according to my notes now lap 110. So they've only got a couple more laps for some carnage to happen. And I will say around the pit cycle time, that is when the most action does actually happen. So we'll see. They're getting towards the end of their fuel run, but anything can happen. And I do have some word in somebody. I do believe the 12 of Chris Chris Griffin, sorry, he is into pit. He said, "I've stayed on track enough. I can't stay any longer," and he's pitting to get tires and fuel to make it to the end here tonight.
And that leaves our honorary number 3, Keenan Kimber, in the lead. Him and Matt Casbaro have not pit. They're Casbaro 4 seconds behind him, but he's got a lot of cars coming around with fresher tires. So we're gonna have to see how these guys navigate him and whether or not he's able to kind of keep up with the pace enough to keep enough cars to make it worth it. As you can as you can see, Steve Whitmore just unlapped himself. Caleb Sibbett as well got his lap back. Along with, here comes Hockley. So that's going to lead him up to the top 11 are going to be on the lead lap. How long do you stay out? Like, when is it worth it, Trevor, do you think, to come in? As we hear Keenan Kimber decided now is the time to win. It's not worth it anymore. He's probably going to come in here this lap.
I would say as much fuel as the truck possibly can squeeze. I mean, if you going for the long run, you've got to stretch it out as long as humanly possible to make it worth it. Because not only are you banking on that caution, but you're also banking on everybody else burning up their tires. And so that whenever you go in, you get that fuel, that little splash of fuel, you get them 4 Goodyear tires, you come back out on track, and you'll be at a tire advantage where you can lap every single lap faster than the people that short pitted, and especially people that pitted really early. You can make up a lot of ground just on the pace because you'll be able to run faster. But I just got word he is 1 lap down now. That he is 1 lap down.
Yeah, Matt Casbaro is gonna be your leader right now, but all the way back to around 13th, cars have gotten back on the lead lap. So maybe worth it for Casbaro. I'm not sure where he was running prior to this, but as we see a car scraping the wall all the way around, it looked like, and he was not a fan of that. We can hear him on track. We can hear their comms when they come over, and you can see the sparks flying from his truck. He came over the comms and said, "I hate this track." So definitely not having a fun time right now, but keeping it in. Casbaro, he's really stretching it. 47 laps on these tires. I'm surprised he hasn't cut it, but he's definitely been saving his stuff. You see him in that 13 Wrangler truck. That's super clean. Different number orientation, but still cool nonetheless to see Wrangler out there leading the Vickers 250. And here comes Chris Griffin. You see him right behind him. That is your leader, and that is Chris Griffin coming back to get his lap back. He's going to give way. You see Chris Griffin come around in the Ram.
And I've got to say, that is a crucial move for that 12 machine of Chris Griffin. You get that lap back. You don't have to mess around with the lucky dog if a caution comes out, which here at Darlington, anything can happen, as we've seen earlier in this race. You get that lap back, and it doesn't necessarily move you up any spots, but what it does is prevent you from having to be the lucky dog, in which you go around, you get that lap back, but you have to serve a EOL, end of line penalty, meaning you have to start at the end of the longest line on the restart, which means you have to pass lap traffic just to get up to the people whom you are actually racing for position. So that is a very crucial move for the 12 machine of Chris Griffin, playing the long game here.
Well, thank you for laying that out for us, Trevor, because I can't read and I have too many acronyms to remember already. I appreciate the effort put into these broadcasts at Van. We got a great team together, Veterans and Affiliated Broadcasting, or sorry, Network, as you were. We're out here. We're just kind of a group of veterans that's starting a nonprofit in order to bring help to guys who get into iRacing. I know to a lot of people, iRacing is just a game, but there's a lot of technical things from racecraft to paint schemes to broadcasting. If you're a veteran out there and you're looking for help, there's plenty of good discords and links. But if you want to give us a try, go ahead and shoot us an email at veteransandaffiliatednetwork@gmail.com. Spelt exactly as the way I said. I'm gonna get a graphic, I promise. But as always, if you need that kind of help, or you're looking to donate, or you're just looking to volunteer, get in the van. Still going on. We got a new leader. Jared Mahone has gotten passed by Jason Baker. Matt Casbaro finally elected to go into pits. Jesse Sperling coming up on Jared Mahone.
Hey,
and then you got Josh Baker.
I'll tell you what, Jesse and Jared, they are on equal tires. They only have 15 laps on these tires right now, as opposed to Jason Baker's 17. So, or it just cycled out 16 as opposed to their 17. Could you say 6-7? But
Man, you had to fit that in there. That was
Oh,
a stretch, Trev. That was a stretch.
I've got to represent the young generation, and quite honestly, anything can be stretched for a 6-7. But anyways, they've got 1 lap newer tires, so the top 3 are on practically the same set of tires, but there is a 4-second gap between the 85 Jason Baker and Jared Mahone. But behind Jared is Jesse Sperling, 1/10 behind, 2/10 behind, and I'm telling you, I made my prediction. I'm sticking by my prediction to the day I die. I'm a man of my word. And I'm telling you, don't sleep on Jesse Sperling. He has shown really good pace here. And I do think he has a good truck. He is in P3 right now.
Yeah, Jesse Sperling definitely showing some speed. It kind of it started after that second stage. You started seeing him kind of pick up spots, making really aggressive moves, and now he's finding himself in P3. All it's going to take is a caution or a slip up from Baker up at the front, and he's there. But he's still got to contend with Jared Mahone right in front of him. But definitely the truck to watch at this race right now.
And speaking of pit stops, Jesse did have a good pit stop with a 47.7 as opposed to Jared's 48.3. Now that's 5/10. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you are going slow in the pit lane, every 10th equates to a lot of on-track time. And so I do think that has a play. Definitely one of the faster pit stops. And I do believe our fastest pit stop is actually a 43.9 from the 70 of Steve Whitmore. Very fast pit stop indeed. And Steve Whitmore, he's cycled down to 10th actually, with fresher tires than our leaders. So we'll be seeing how that works out. I know a lot of the people in front of him actually have more laps on their tires, so he's definitely going to have the tire wear advantage as opposed to those in the mid top 10. But we'll see how that plays out for the 70th Steve Whitmore, and I'm excited to see how this battle plays out between Jared and Jesse here for 70th.
Yeah, with all the mentions of tires, you'd think we were sponsored by Goodyear, but we are not, I promise. We would have a lot more use of AI. Well, not if I could help it, but we are definitely coming to the final stretch of this race. We've got about 21 laps. left here, and we are really kind of spacing it out between everybody. The tires and the pit stop has made it to where everybody's kind of not really around each other. There aren't really too intense of battles, but Darlington's always kind of full of surprises. I hope that there isn't a caution till the end of the race because I don't want to see anybody kind of get wrecked out. But the chances of Mahone or Sperling or even Caleb Sibbett catching up to that leader are kind of slim right now. Once you get that space, it's hard to get up there, but it would be cool to see. It would be cool to see that tide truck in Victory Lane. For all you old heads out there, if you remember that close finish between Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven back in the day, I think that's what he's basing that paint scheme off of, and definitely a solid throwback when you think about Darlington. You think about epic moments on NASCAR. That's one of them. Trevor, what's your favorite moment from Darlington in in your sprightly young years?
That's a really good question. I've got to say I haven't been, like you said, sprite young years, but I've got to say I wouldn't put a favorite moment on it, but more maybe Chase Briscoe's, but I don't know. I just really enjoy watching the NASCAR drivers show their talent in real life here because this track is all about commitment. And so I would say my favorite part of Darlington is actually watching the onboard cams in the NASCAR car itself. So maybe not a favorite, maybe not a favorite. Maybe we can get one up actually, but it's very very fun to see. And I'd also like to take this moment to mention. Lisa said that Jesse's dad actually was a Marine. Thaddeus.
Uh, Raw, rah rah rah, rah rah. Hold on, I'm speaking to the Marines out there. Rah rah, rah, raw. No, that's awesome. Good to hear. Everybody I think has a personal connection to the military, so I appreciate the call out, especially with other Marines. In the booth tonight, I got myself who's the devil dog, and then I got two great college students that I happen to meet on iRacing who volunteer their time. So not to you know credit where credit's due. These guys have been super helpful in both my racing and in everything that we're doing at Van. So there's kind of like this little alliance between the us veterans and these college kids that just super awesome of them, and shout out to them. Shout out University of Alabama, University of Columbus, Georgia. Definitely cool to have them on here.
Roll Tide, could I say? I'd really love to see that Tide truck in Victory Lane there. With that awesome
Just so you
Tide
can say it
memory.
again.
Just so I can say Roll Tide, Roll freaking Tide, baby.
Oh Jesus! But still in the lead, we have Baker, Jason Baker to be exact. Jared Mahone 2.4 back, then Jesse Sperling in third. Not too much of a shakeup thus far. We've we've still got the race winding down, but it's looking like it's going to be a Jason Baker win tonight. You see the 13 rolling in of Matt Casbaro rolling back in the pits. He's having problems. Jason Baker leading. Jared Mahone, he's kind of leveled out. Um, he's added some space to Jesse Sperling, but everybody's still kind of running the same lap times, kind of keeping the same distance from each other. I think the only thing that can really change this would be a caution. Otherwise, it's Baker's race to lose. So we watched Jared Mahone and Jesse Sperling. That's the distance between second and third. And then barely in the screen as you come around the turn, you can see the leader of Baker. But there is a lap car between them, so even then, they got to get around that lap car before they even think about trying to go for the lead. And time is ticking down. It is lap 138 of 147.
Oh, we
You
have
can
passed,
see on screen. Go ahead, Trevor.
we have past 10 to go. So I know Jared, I've been watching his interval to the leader. He is able to claw a couple tenths here and there. And so he has been able to cut that down from a 3 second lead down to almost a 2 second lead. So he is able to claw back some, but 2.3, 2.4 currently. But these laps are ticking down. I would say these tires are probably hot, probably a bit marbled up. And as you can imagine, the marbles laid down on the track from the rubber chipping off the tire onto the racing surface. So very tough conditions indeed. But these laps are ticking down as we have 7 to go. I wouldn't imagine the pace to be able to pick up too much from here on out.
Yeah, we've got we've got 7 laps to go. Sorry, 8 laps to go. We got Steve Whitmore making a pass on the 58 of Joshua Baker. 58 got into the wall a little bit, having a little bit of trouble. Steve Whitmore capitalizes for P9. And that's your closest battle on track at the moment. And Keenan Kimber way back from them. Say about 4 seconds back from that battle. There's Keenan Kimber in that Oreo machine. Kind of phasing in and out. Jason Steptoe in the 25, the lap car separating first and second. You see the distance back to second and third, and the distance to the lead. You know, anything can happen, but man, they're running out of time. Now, Trevor, at this point, with the difficulty on this track, do you push and try to catch that leader, or do you kind of just lay back and wait for a good finishing position for this race?
So me personally, I'm gonna take it spot by spot for the top three. If I'm Jason Baker, I see this gap and I see the laps ticking down. I'm not taking any risks. If anything, I'm taking my foot off the pedal, which is something if you know me, I very rarely do. So I'm trying to lay back a little bit, try and save a little bit of tire, and more importantly, just find consistency and that I can chew up some gap, but I can't chew up my truck. But if I'm in second place, I'm looking at the gap behind. There's about a second and a half gap between Jared and Jesse. If I'm Jared, I'm pushing a little bit, trying to maintain that gap. If anything, try and catch a little bit on Jason Baker. But if I'm Jesse Sperling, I'm still full pedal to the metal, seeing as there's a second and a half gap, trying to get what I can get, trying to catch up to Jared.
Yeah, as you saw right there, Christopher Hockley kind of muscled his way past Chris Griffin. That's going to be for 6th and 7th.
Could that be 6-7?
I cannot believe I fell right into that one. We got 2 laps to go with Steve. This is Steve Whitmore and Brigsby, but let's bring it back to the leader real quick. Follow him to the final lap. All he's got to do is keep it together. And right now, Jason Baker leading the field. And he's gone through this entire race without using his fast repair. So good job on him keeping it safe. He's got 2 sets of corners and coming to the stripe today on the Vickers 250. The track Too Tough to Tame was tamed by the 85 of Baker. He is your Vickers 250 winner. Running in third, we got Jared Mahone, Jesse Sperling, and then running through the rest of the field real quick, we got Caleb Sibbett, Jerry McKinney, Christopher Hockley, Chris Griffin, Steve Whitmore in 8th, Grigsby in 9th. We got Josh Baker in 10th, Jason Steptoe, CJ Brewer, Keith Ayers, Emil Duna. And we're going to bring up the results right here. As you can see, Jason's the winner. But back in the field, we got Emil Duna, David Palmer, Keenan Kimber, Matthew Casbaro, Seth Owens, JD Baker, and Bryson McGee running out the top 20. For the rest of the field, in 21st, Joshua Robinson, Aaron Longworth, Taylor Locklear, and that will be your finishing order. As Baker brings it up to tear it down. Let's bring the top 3 finishers here today into the booth one at a time. We're going to start with Jesse Sperling. Jesse, Thaddeus in the booth. Man, you had a rocket ship after stage 2. You really started heading up there. After stage 2, like what changed? Because you seem to be going really fast.
Well, stage 1 and 2 is just trying to focus on not getting in any trouble, and I didn't really do a good job of that. But I got behind Chris Griffin, and he made that car 3 lanes wide. Couldn't get by him, and that just kind of hampered me getting to the front. Pit stops would gain and lose positions. Really, the position gaining was on the restarts. It was chaos, but I felt like that's where you gained and lost positions.
Yeah, I saw you make a lot of aggressive moves. Saw you three wide a couple times. Super cool racing on your part. But I know third is me as a racer. Third is never good enough. Do you feel like you could have done anything different, or do you feel like that was all your truck had tonight?
Well, I knew Jason. He was lights out fast tonight. I think he had to start in the back actually, and he just kept driving up through the field, and he was fast in practice and qualifying. I don't think I had enough for him. Me and Jared were kind of battling there at the end, and I should have backed off of him and saved my tires a little bit more for the end of the race, but I was just content riding right behind him there for a little bit, and I just lost it towards the end. So I think third was about maximizing it tonight.
Well, still a great run. Trevor, you got a question for Mr. Sperling?
Now I know you're coming off that win last week. I know you're pretty good you're pretty high in the points, but I've got to ask, what how does it feel podiuming your sponsor race? And I've got to ask, there in that stage number 3, what you were what was going through your head when you saw that you got up to third?
Well, clean pit stop. I really didn't think with the way the beginning of the race went that we would get green flag stops, but we had I think a caution free last stage. So I was really trying to focus on getting a clean pit stop on and off pit road, just splitting the stage almost down the middle. And I thought that would give me fresher tires for the end of the race, but Jared and Jason, again, they were just really fast.
All right, Jesse. Well, we really appreciate you. Hopefully, y'all get a few phone calls. Put Vickers Auto Parts out there for you. The truck looked really nice tonight. You said I tried to shout out who gave you your paint.
It was GB22 on Facebook. He did it for me about a year ago now, and I absolutely love him. If you want to hit him up for a paint, he does a great job. Completely custom, whatever you want, he'll work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I gave him a shout out during the broadcast. Anybody you want to shout out tonight?
Yeah, man. Shout out my teammates, Josh and Caleb. We practiced a lot this week. Josh got caught up in a lot of crap tonight, and I feel bad for him. Caleb was really fast this week. Shout him out. He really gave me a run for my money all week in practice and qualifying, and even in the race there, we were racing for a little bit. I want to thank my wife for supporting what I do, and my little girl Josie. Vickers Auto Parts, obviously, for supporting what I do and supporting the league. Um, and that's about it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you again. I kind of hinted at some of the collabs that we got going on, but I wanted to let you know I really appreciate you sponsoring the HPRL league and Vickers Auto Parts. I wish nothing but the best for you, man. Great run tonight.
Thank you, man. Y'all have a good one.
You too. All right, next up we're gonna bring up Jared Mahone, and we are gonna apologize profusely for getting his name wrong this entire time. I apologize, Jared, but here tonight in third place second place as you were, Jared Mahone. How are you doing tonight, Jared?
Better that I finished second. I did not think I was gonna do too well at Darlington. My short run speed was pretty bad in practice with everybody, but luckily my long run speed kind of prevailed.
Yeah, you're definitely multifaceted. Like we saw you work it out at Lime Rock and be able to save on fuel strategy. What did you feel like the strategy was tonight that might have brought you up to Baker or even got you the second place?
Yeah, I think it was really just tire saving. You have to be really patient at Darlington, and you really have to pick your passes, because if you don't get the pass off, you're gonna eat up your tires. You really you gotta make decisive choices if you're gonna move in and try to take a pass off, and you better get it or you're gonna eat your tires up. And yeah, I think I just kind of played it smart. I definitely don't think I was second fastest just overall, but yeah, I think I just got people on tire saving today.
Well, sometimes it's right place, right time, but you definitely have this skill level for it. You survived a grueling race. Trevor, you got any questions for Mr. Mahone?
Now, Jared, you did prompt a question kind of in my head. More on the driver part. I know you're sitting pretty steady in the points. I know you were able to get that done at Lime Rock. Obviously, you did fantastic tonight. But I'm looking more towards the season. Um, this was intermediate tonight. What is your style track that you're kind of leaning on for the season, if at all? And what do you prefer as a driver as well?
I am gonna go for intermediates. Darlington, is kind of a different beast intermediate wise. I'm looking forward to Rockingham. Um, you know, all the other all the other intermediates. I'm not sure if we're running Homestead. Homestead's my favorite. I love ripping the wall. For some reason, I just can't rip the wall here very well. So yeah, looking forward to some more ovals. Glad we're done with the road courses. I did, decent at them, but definitely not my top skill. And super speedways. That's always a crapshoot. So
It most certainly is, but we're gonna gamble next weekend at Talladega. Anybody want to shout out tonight, Chris? Or sorry, Jared. Sorry.
no, I don't think I have anybody tonight. So thanks for broadcasting. Thanks for Vickers for sponsoring the race. We appreciate everything you guys do, and all the all the donations coming in to keep the league running. So appreciate it, guys, and thanks for broadcasting, guys.
Yeah, no problem, man. Great watching out there, Jared. Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you the rest of the season.
Yep, thanks, guys.
I apologize. My hooked on phonics came up, and that's my birth name. So didn't mean to call him Chris. Apologies again, Jared. But the man of the hour tonight for the Vickers 250 is going to be Jason Baker. Jason, you got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, congratulations on winning the Vickers 250.
Yeah.
What do you feel like it was your winning strategy here once you got through that last round of pit stops?
The green flag run. I went. I was 2 laps down in the first stage and got all of them back by the stage break. Then my internet went out in stage 2, and I
Oh
went
man,
3 laps down and got all of them back by the end of that stage break. It put me finally on the lead lap right there at the beginning of that stage, and then I just worked through the field, and I had a really good. I was really good on the long run, and I was able to still turn fast laps at the same time on the short run. So it was
yeah,
a hell of a
definitely.
race. Very eventful for everybody, I think, tonight.
Yeah, it was surprising how aggressive everybody got, especially at the end of that, like the beginning of that second stage when
Yeah.
everybody was going 3 wide. And super impressive run, by the way. Like, congratulations coming back from 3 laps down. I know like internet issues is you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
I
as soon as
mean,
you get
it's
dropped, your race is over.
yeah, and that's the thing is like it didn't even give me like a warning or anything. It just popped up packet loss, and then it was like we're removing you to the pits, and I get a countdown timer, and I'm like, crap, there goes my race. But I mean, Darlington's it's a tricky place, and you got to be patient and drive the track versus driving the traffic. And there we got some new guys that they're still learning and everything along that line. So the cautions just happened to fall right for for it to happen tonight for me to get the win. I'm pretty happy about it.
Most definitely, definitely a lesson in overcoming adversity. Trevor, do you have a question for Mr. Baker here?
I do, as a matter of fact. Now, Jason, I myself am a driver, obviously. I do love me a good race, but I've got to ask about the adversity itself. As a driver, how did you overcome? It sounded like the constant uphill battle, which some races definitely do tend to go that way.
Yeah.
If you stick in racing long enough, it's eventually gonna happen. And a lot of times, whenever you get down, it's constantly an uphill battle to and wants to keep you to stay down. But how did you mentally overcome that for the rest of this race in order to get you this win? What kind of mind tricks did you do? What kind of mentality did you have? I mean, it's hard when you're constantly fighting uphill battles. So I've got to ask, how did you mentally take this?
Honestly, when my internet went out, I was 100% my race was done, and it was just I was gonna finish and let attrition happen, and hopefully I can gain a few spots for some points. But then, like I said, the cautions kept coming, and it was falling perfectly where I was the lucky dog. And it just once I got to 2 laps down, I'm like, okay, I recovered from this in the first stage. And then it was 1 lap, and I'm like, all right, I'm 1 lap down, and the stage is coming. I just got to be the first guy. So I just stuck to it and pushed as hard as I possibly could, just in case somebody else went a lap down. That way I could be the lucky dog.
Most definitely. Like, overcoming that kind of adversity at any track is definitely impressive. Overcoming it at Darlington,
Yeah,
damn near impossible. So
yeah, it
good,
was
great job, dude.
it was a hell of a race, man. I don't know that too much more could have happened because I mean I got wrecked. I got caught up in that very first incident in the on the night, and it was just like, man, it did not look good from the go. I got the pole, and I have a penalty, so I had to go to the back, and it just it was like everything was telling me no tonight, and the third stage just finally everything fell into place.
Well, the lady in black definitely treated you well. You got anybody you want to shout out tonight, Jason?
Yeah, thank the sponsors, Vickers, for helping us with these next two races and everything along those lines. I know there's a lot of family and all those, so thank them. You guys putting this broadcast on, doing it with the league and everything, with the admins running the league and all of that, and my brothers for helping in the practices and everything to get ready for these long races Thursday nights.
Most definitely. But long race, a lot of adversity, but you are the victor here at Darlington for the Vickers 250. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, man. I'm gonna send you back.
All right.
Trevor, incredible racing tonight on one of the tougher tracks on the circuit.
Yes, definitely, exactly what we expected out of this track, and some things we didn't. Now, I knew with this being such a technical track, I know I compared this to Sebring. If we have any road course races in our presence, I know Thaddeus isn't claiming to be one, even though he's done the Rolex 24 with us, but. Now, I knew that there was going to be some early cautions because, I mean, you didn't exactly know when it was going to happen, but you knew that it was going to with it being such a tight track. I knew when it got spread out, I'm like, okay, maybe something could happen. Again, you just don't know exactly when it's going to. But we saw everything. We saw short runs, we saw long runs. I think this was a great race to showcase a lot of the potential from these drivers and show exactly what we have here in this high performance racing league.
Yeah, definitely a like I said, a testament to overcoming adversity. Congratulations to tonight's winner, Jason Baker, and to all the drivers who battled their way through the field. An intense night of racing at the HPRL Truck Series. For Trevor, I'm Thaddeus, and big thank you to Bobby back in production. But tonight we have a different producer, and that is Michael Alexich. So I want to give a big shout out to him. He stepped up, representing University of Columbus, and super happy to have him on board broadcasting tonight. We'd all we'd also like to give a special thank you to everybody at Van, whether it's broadcasting, making paints. We're still a very small group, but we're going to be a nonprofit here soon, making things happen. You know, as they say, VAN. Get in the van. But next week, the HPRL Truck Series goes to one of my personal favorites. I know it's one of Trevor's personal favorites, although he does lean more toward a different track that's similar because he's a trader. We're going to Talladega. We're going to the Dega, baby. We know that some of the drivers we expect to see at the front at Talladega, and Talladega has always had a soft spot for first time winners. So I can't wait to see who comes out on top. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week at Dega.